Hello, I'm Major Jip, and today I'm going to be looking at a watch. Now, as many people who don't know me wouldn't be very well aware, I'm a very big fan of watches and clocks, timepieces in general, basically. Here are just a few examples of the more interesting ones I have. And by more interesting, I mean the ones that I could grab off the shelf in a couple of minutes. Now, as you can see, there's a sharper image, backlit LCD, reversed LCD, clock over to the right, new time, analog clock that's all wind up, which you can hear ticking right now, and I'm going to get that out in a second because you probably don't want to hear that through the entire review, and some random Chinese clock that glows. But you also probably noticed the Invicta Pro Diver series, I forget the number, and a automatic winding skeleton elegant watch over there. I do collect a few watches. These two are probably the more expensive of the ones that I have. And I do have a bunch of other unique ones, which I might show one day. One that has a sort of black light LED, sorry, that actually glows and the dial goes back. It's with a mirror. It's very neat. I might should make a video on that one day. I have to replace the battery in it first. But there's going to be a new watch added into my, select couple of watches, or select watches that I do wear on occasion. And let's first get this out of the way, which, it's always good when a clock rattles. Note might not actually be fact. And there is another one that's going to be added to my collection. This was given to me by my girlfriend for Christmas, which is, a season that happened like 2 weeks ago, so I haven't had this too long. But it is a diesel, or diesel, or however you're supposed to pronounce it. For the rest of this review, I'm going to be saying it as diesel because, well, that's how I pronounce it. This is the DZ7270 watch, which I don't even know what that means. It's just the model number of this watch. It's from their Big Daddy line of watches, which is just a watch range that has big dials and, a big, large size and a few different dials. This is a chronograph model, but it stopped talking and actually opened the thing. It's already been open. I've already worn it a week or so, or however long. And so it's not a true unboxing. It used to be covered in plastic and everything else, but it's not anymore. As you can see, it comes in a pretty attractive box with, it's basically cardboard covered in some type of vinyl. It has all these rivets that are stylized to add perceived value, I suppose. If that makes any sense. And it's stitched there to hold the top cover on. It's a very nice looking box. It actually is pretty thick and will protect the watch if you don't have a watch case. And it also has holes on the top for, I don't know, air circulation. Probably to prevent fogging inside. I really don't know. Maybe it's just design choice. But an odd one at that. Matt, you've seen enough of the outside of the box. You open it up, and you don't see the watch. The watch is actually inside here, wrapped around this little pillow. And yes, when I first got it, the watch itself was wrapped up in all sorts of plastic, and on the pillow and everything else. It was very secured when I got it, and of course, I discarded all that when I wore the watch, obviously. Anything else in the box? It also has an instruction manual, which I'm holding it upside down. It's just waiting for the camera to focus. And the watch instruction manual talks about basically every single watch that they make, or all the different series that they have. And it's in a few different languages. I don't even know how many. Okay. That's nothing really of interest. Now let's look at the watch itself. It's very interesting compared to most average wristwatches. Okay, I'm probably freaking out the focus with all the stuff in the background. 1 second as I clear all that stuff out. And I'm back. It's a little bit less cluttered. Maybe the focus will have a little bit better time now. Okay, keep in mind the lighting I have is kind of harsh, so it might be difficult to see some of the detail on the watch. I'll actually have high resolution pictures uploaded on my website. I'll put a link to them in the description when I finally get it all worked out. But basically, it looks like this. If it's in focus, I believe it is. It's a very big dial, as you can see, and it's basically just a watch dial with a separate timekeeping area here. And it also has a chronograph on it. This is the hour mark. This goes along with the hour hand on the clock when you set it. And also when it moves, so it's a little after 24, it's military time. So it's a little after 12. And yes, this watch is set correct. I'm here 12:43 in the morning recording a video because I have nothing better to do, I suppose. Anyway, it's also a chronograph, as I said before, which means it's basically a stopwatch. I'm sure there's some subtle difference that I never understood, but I use it as a stopwatch. So all you do is press this button here, and that goes along with these two dials. And that little dial on the bottom started going, and it'll actually correspond and move this dial here. This is a 30-minute chronograph, so that goes by minute intervals, and it'll move up to 30 and stop. It won't keep going. And my camera is seeing the dial as a face, which I suppose does make sense, but not a human kind of face. Doesn't count as that. And as you can see, there's also a subdial, which has, not a subdial, it's also another timepiece here, which goes from, it's 12 hours, so 12 hours it goes full circulation, and that's actually set by turning, unlocking this and turning it like that. That turns that dial. And you can set that to whatever time zone you wanted to. I just have it set up to set with this as a quick sort of look down and see around what time it is. And for that, it works very well. If you're too lazy to actually read an analog dial, I suppose, which sometimes I am. If I want to know around what it is, I just look at that and I know it's a little bit before 1. Close enough. And as you can see down there, it's also has a date. It is now the 3rd, so I said it correctly. And I mean, that's pretty much it. It's a pretty well-rounded watch, if that makes any sense, which it probably doesn't. It tells time and has a chronograph and looks very, very neat compared to standard wristwatches, I suppose you could say. It's its own little world. It's also pretty well built. I mean, I've been only been wearing it a couple of weeks, but in that time I haven't had any issues with scratching or anything. Of course, this isn't the type of watch you wear to do sports or anything like that. I wouldn't wear this to work or anything, because it's a pretty big dial. I forget what type of glass it is. I believe it's probably not flame fusion, but it's some type of crystallized mixed glass, which it's supposed to be a pretty decent hardness, but you still don't want it subject to anything that could scratch. I mean, it's a pretty big amount of glass in there. It's more surface area, easier to break is how I see it. But that's not to say it's a bad thing. I mean, I've been wearing this watch basically every single day since I got it. The watch has I'm holding it upside down, why do I keep doing that? The watch has a leather strap, as you probably would have noticed by now, with diesel embossed into the metal, which is a nice touch. Also has a very nice big clasp, very nice thick strap, with just very small divot lines, so divot holes. So the chance of this actually breaking, not very bad, I guess it would be how to rephrase that. I've had a few watches. I usually don't like leather straps because after a little while wearing them, they tend to deteriorate and break apart. This one is far thicker than pretty much every other leather strap I've had. It's very thick and it has the small holes right in the middle, so it could take a fair bit of use before I'd start breaking down. I would assume, of course, I haven't had this watch long enough to know. But I do believe it would hold up quite well. And of course you could also buy replacements off their website if you wanted to. I know you could also get them all different colors. You know what you need for a black watch is a neon green strap, I suppose. That's pretty funny actually. But yeah, that's basically all I really have to say about it. It's a very nice watch. It has quite a bit of weight. It's the biggest watch I own. And it seems to be quite durable. I haven't had any problems. It keeps time perfectly, as you'd assume for a fairly expensive, fairly high-end watch, I suppose you could say. I'm sure Diesel makes far more extravagant models than this. But if you're looking for a decent, unique watch that tells the time in a still fairly common way, this might be a good watch. It's big, it's heavy, and I love it. Which is the most bizarre statement I've probably made today, especially considering it's just the start of a new day. Anyway, I think that's all I really have to say. Actually, one more thing. Let me just push this button and reset the chronograph. Pressing the top button stops it, pressing the bottom button resets it. It'll actually go through the whole cycle backwards to get the minute hand in the right area. And everything looks out of focus. Okay. Actually, I guess I'll do one more thing. Hold on one second. And if you're wondering, the watch does look pretty nice in a watch case as well. And before you ask, yes, I do have a top for this, but if you put the top on, you can't see the watches on camera. Go figure. Anyway, that's all I really have to say. If you want to see a better look at any of these watches, or any clocks, or anything you've seen in this video, just drop me a line or leave a comment or something to that effect. That's about all I have to say. Major Jib, signing out.